Are you guys ready to look at some Zelda cards? I am. Maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago now, I bought like 50 packs of the 2016 Enterplay Legend of Zelda set. The cool thing about this set is it has all the different Zelda games, most of like the mainline games. So there's Majora's Mask cards, there's Ocarina of Time cards, there's a Link Between Worlds cards, there's Skyward Sword cards. We are going to take a look at these cards. I graded 66 cards. This may have been a horrible idea, but let's take a look at what we got. So these first two cards are not a part of the set that I just mentioned. These cards are a part of the 1999 Card-Ass Legend of Zelda set, and these cards, in my opinion, are super freaking cool. Unfortunately, they did get the PSA 7, but that holographic pattern is super awesome. This is obviously Ocarina of Time. You got Zelda on one side, Ganon on the other, and you got Kid Link and Adult Link. Just a really cool looking card. And this one is kind of an homage to the Doom artwork. Once you see it, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about, with Doom Guy standing on top of a pile of bodies, you know, shooting down onto the enemies below. But in this artwork, you've got Link and you've got Sheik fighting off some of the iconic villains from Ocarina of Time. These are super cool. Really like them a lot, from 1999. Next up, we have some PSA graded cards from the Ocarina of Time section of the 2016 Enterplay set. First, we have our Link here. This did get a PSA 10. Super cool for any of these cards to get a PSA 10, and we did get quite a few. The artwork on this set is just gorgeous. I love all the character cards. We got 1 9 and we got another 9 here. I don't know any of these will actually sell for because these actually haven't sold. Like I said, the pops are super low, especially on the base cards. Some people have been grading the foils. There are silver foils and gold foils. Gold foils are the rarest version, and then silver foils I think are in like 1 in every 2 or 3 or 4 packs, and the gold foils are like 1 in every, I think for me it was like, I think I got 2 out of like a 50 pack opening, so 1 in every maybe like 24, 25 packs. I did send some silver foils and 1 gold foil. We'll see those a little bit later. They were from different sections of the set themselves. We've got the Navi here. I sent the Navi card. I'm not a huge fan of Navi. I don't think many of us are, but it also has Kid Link here. So any of the cards that included a picture of Link or a picture of Zelda, I wanted to send in. We got 2 PSA 10s here. We've got a couple Zeldas here. So we got 1 9 of Princess Zelda and 1 10 of Princess Zelda. So that's pretty awesome. One of the more iconic Nintendo waifus of all time. Next up, we got the big bad from Ocarina of Time, Ganondorf. This one got the 6, unfortunately, so there must be some sort of bend or crease or something that I didn't see when I sent it off. But to offset the 6, thankfully we did get 1 of these in a 10. So far we've actually got 1 of each Ocarina of Time card that I sent in a 10, which is pretty awesome. Next up, we've got the Ocarina of Time card. We've got Link playing the ocarina, which is really nice. Unfortunately, both of these cards did get 9s. Now I wonder what song he is playing. I wonder if you could actually tell what song he is playing based on his finger position. If anyone wants to analyze that, if any Zelda sycophants want to analyze that and tell me which song he's playing, if it's possible, let me know in the comments below. That would be wild. Oh yes, he's actually playing Song of Storms here because his left finger is covering the 3rd hole on the ocarina. I would die if somebody put that in the comments. So please, if you can figure out which song it is, please post that in the comments. Next, we have the Fairy Bow from Ocarina of Time. So obviously, again, this is just an item card. It's the Fairy Bow card, but it includes a Link in the artwork, so that's why I sent it. We've got 2 10s from the Fairy Bow. And last but not least, we have a Fairy Slingshot, and is there a second Fairy Slingshot? No, we have the Goddess Harp. So we have a 9 in the Goddess Harp. You can see that Sheik is playing the harp there. We also have the Fairy Slingshot. We've got Kid Link using the slingshot. Just really cool artworks in this set. That's why I wanted to send a lot of this stuff for grading. It's just a gorgeous set of cards, man. I don't know. All right, so this is an example of a silver foil. So we have a silver foil Link from Majora's Mask. This one did get the PSA 10. This Link in a PSA 10 is absolutely awesome. This is beautiful, beautiful Skull Kid, Majora's Mask gold foil. This one did get the PSA 9. Next up, we got some Links. So this is the same Link that my silver foil was, but this is the base version of the card. We've got 3 of these, and I think they all got... Oh, never mind. One of them did get the 10, which is awesome. One of them got the 9, and then the other one got the 10. So we actually got 2 10s. Just like Pokemon, I feel like you want to send in main characters, great artworks that include the main characters, and then hopefully you get 10s on those cards. Just like this, Skull Kid from Majora's Mask, the main kind of baddie with the giant moon in the background. I love this artwork. This artwork is fantastic. This one got the 9, and I think we were blessed with 10 of the Skull Kid as well. Absolutely beautiful looking card, I think. Next, we've got the Fierce Deity's Mask. Now, in the game, is this the mask that you had to get all of the other masks to get? And then it kind of makes like the final fight like really easy because you're super powerful with the Fierce Deity Mask on. We did get 2 10s of the Fierce Deity Mask, which is really cool. We also have some of these other masks in here, as well as Tattle and Tail. So I don't exactly remember the whole Tattle and Tail dynamic, but we've got Tattle and Tail, and then we also have Kid Link here, and we have Skull Kid here. Both of these, or one of these got a 9, one of these got a 10. I really like the artwork on this. This is actually probably one of my favorite artworks in the set. I think the aesthetic of Majora's Mask is one of the best aesthetics of, you know, the Zelda games, although I like Twilight Princess as a game more personally. We've got the Zora mask, so that's Link wearing the Zora mask. That one got the 9. We got the Goron mask. This one got the 10. And then I sent in the Deku mask. Frick. I think as a kid, I always called it the Deku tree, but I think it's the Deku tree? It's gotta be. Gotta be. Next up, we have my favorite Zelda game. We're going into Twilight Princess. So we did have a couple silver foils from Twilight Princess. This one got the PSA 9. This is Wolf Link. I love the aesthetic of Twilight Princess. Next, we have another silver foil. This one is of Hylian Shield. So this is Link, obviously, but specifically the Hylian Shield. This one, unfortunately, got the PSA 7, but looked pretty decent to me, but still wanted to send it in. This is just a silver foil, not a gold foil. And we've got more of the Hylian Shield, of course. 2 more PSA 9s. Next up, we have Wolf Link. So in this game, you could transform between a human and a wolf. And in the wolf, I believe when you are the wolf, you're in like a, almost like an alternate reality area of the game. So it was interesting because I think in certain puzzles, you had to switch between being human Link and Wolf Link, being able to fight off the different shadow monsters and stuff, if I remember correctly. We've got Wolf Link in a PSA 10 and a PSA 9 and a PSA 9. So we did snag 110, which is good. Next up, we've got Princess Zelda, and then we have Fused Shadow with Midna. We've got a 7 of Fused Shadow, unfortunately, and then we have a Midna, and our Midna was PSA 10. Midna, I think, is one of the best side characters in all of Zelda. I think she has a great story. She has great character development throughout the game, and I think her ending and everything is really good as well. I think Midna is one of the better fleshed out side characters in all of Zelda. All right, I feel like next up is the Zelda game that everyone doesn't like. I've never played it because I always heard it was terrible, and then I never actually played it. We are talking about Skyward Sword. The first one we have is Skyward Sword. This is a PSA 9. This is one of those silver foils. We did get a PSA 10 of Link. I like the aesthetic of it. I like the kind of brush stroke style with like the harsh shadows. I think it actually looks kind of cool. But yeah, I just heard overall it wasn't that great of a game. But yeah, we did get a 10 for Link. We also got some Zelda cards. So Zelda is playing maybe the Goddess Harp that we saw earlier in the Ocarina of Time section. Yeah, we've got a 9 Zelda and a 10 Zelda. Very nice. I do have to say that Demise is a pretty creepy looking villain, man. Is that the Ganon of this game, or is Demise like a completely different villain? Is there a Ganon in Skyward Sword? I'm a little confused, but that is a pretty badass looking character. That is very frightening. So we did get a 10 of the Demise. We got Crimson Loftwing in a 9. This is a really nice artwork. I like, obviously, Loftwing. I like the bird. And then I really like that Link is on its back flying around. I assume that's probably a mechanic in the game. We did get 2 9s, it looks like, of that particular card. And I did send in a couple of the tool cards. So we have the Whip and the Beetle. So PSA 10 Beetle and PSA 9 Whip. Both of them include Zelda, or frick. Both of them include Link, not Zelda. I'm not doing the meme, I promise. Both of them include Link on the card with the tool, utilizing the tool, which I think is really cool. Next up, we have a very cool Zelda game that came out on the 3DS that maybe not a whole lot of people played, but it was A Link Between Worlds. We've got the 8 of A Link Between Worlds. Next up, we got the Master Sword. I'm really surprised that the Master Sword doesn't show up more throughout this entire set. And this one is a PSA 9. So basically 9s or 10s in the silver foils are pretty freaking solid. We've got the Master Sword, Link Between Worlds. This is the non-foil version. We've got 2 10s of those. We did get the PSA 10 of this Link as well. We may have a 10 version of every Link that I sent in, which would be really cool. He's kind of a kid Link in this. I don't know if that's just maybe the art style and he's still an adult. Maybe he's a kid Link. But yeah, this is the Link in a 10. Next, we have Shadow Link. So Shadow Link is always a dark version of Link that you face in the games. Specifically, I remember the Ocarina of Time. I got my ass kicked so many times by that Shadow Link before beating him. Very difficult fight, in my opinion. I think there's a way that you can cheese it. Unless you have the, what is it, the Goron Hammer or whatever, or the Goron Sword. The Goron Sword makes that fight, I think, quite a bit easier, but we've got a 10 and a 9 of that Shadow Link. We got some more Zeldas. I think we might have actually snagged 2 10s, yes, of the Princess Zeldas of the base cards. Next up, this game had the pig version of Ganon. So Ganon and Ganondorf, I think, are they 2 different versions of the same character? They do 2 different characters, because I have Ganon and Ganondorf, and Ganondorf is usually like a humanoid looking, and Ganon is usually like a pig form looking. So this game has Ganon, which is a pig looking form of him, and I got 1 10, 2 10s actually, of Ganon from A Link Between Worlds. Very cool looking artwork. And of course I had to send in some of the item cards that Link is in and he happens to be using. So we have the Tornado Rod that got the PSA 9. We also got a Tornado Rod that unfortunately got a 6. And then this was super cool. So this is Ravio's bracelet. So I just like the real graffiti aspect of this. I think if I remember correctly, you could kind of fuse into the walls in A Link Between Worlds. You could like become almost art on the walls. But we've got the Ravio's bracelet in A Link Between, maybe Ravio's bracelet makes it so that you can fuse into the walls. We got 2 9s of that one, so I wanted to do that obviously because it had Link in the actual card. I think this set is super cool just because it includes Zelda and Link and Ganon in most of the actual card artworks and isn't just like, oh, here's the slingshot, here's a picture of a slingshot. It's like actually Link using the slingshot. I think it's a really cool set with some really cool artworks. I would love to get my hands on some Twilight Princess cards, but they're pretty expensive at this point, especially the holos. It might be a goal someday to crack booster boxes of each of these sets. That would be a really fun opening.